Hey everyone! Today we're going to talk about the secrets and Easter eggs you might have missed in the newly released Sing 2. We're also going to explain the ending, so beware of spoilers in this video. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to not miss out on any future content. Now, without further ado, let's get started. Sing 2 begins with a performance of Alice in Wonderland, featuring returning stars Meena the elephant and her friends Rosita the pig and Johnny the gorilla. This is due to the fact that, just before Buster and his pals can make it big, they must first try and impress the talent agent, Suey. To do so, they depend heavily on Alice in Wonderland, a time-honored tale of miracles and playfulness. The introductory output of Alice has all the hallmarks of being an homage to Lewis Carroll's work properly, from Meena's entire outfit to Rosita getting dressed up as the Cheshire Cat. Johnny even wears a stylish hat to play the wicked Mad Hatter. To top it all off, if you look really closely, you'll start noticing that the show is titled Alice in Wonderland on the headliner just outside of the movie theater. Catalonia appears to be a vibrant city, but it comes nowhere close to what Buster has in store for his friends. He believes they have what it takes to make it in a vast metropolis, which in the world of Sing 2 means riding the bus to Red Shore City. Once you see the new environment, it's clear that Red Shore City is actually intended to be our world's closest approximation of Las Vegas. The Red Shore City skyline is stunningly comparable to Nevada's most famous marker. There is a plethora of hints that point towards Sin City all through the film. Everything from the theaters where the group outperforms Out of This World to the huge outdoor advertisement campaign estimates will look very familiar if you've ever visited the instantly recognizable legitimate destination. Also, the smallest of details are clearly present, specifically in the context of Nushi, a lynx who appears to work as a roadside entertainer, singing and dancing for the amusement and cash of people on the street. Normally, a few of the more adult components of Las Vegas are really not conducted around. After all, it's still an animated kids movie. To bring its characters to life, Sing 2 has assembled a naturally gifted cast. It's perfectly understandable if you manage to miss a few major stars during the course of the movie, but if you stay around throughout the credits, you'll notice a bunch of major identities start popping up that you might have not actually realized were there at first. A long list of people can be found underneath the credits for additional voices. It's easy to get caught up in the middle, but if you look very closely, you'll notice two significant Hollywood managers and directors, namely Edgar Wright and Wes Anderson. It ultimately turned out they're actually in fact revisiting voiceover composers from the first film, as officially confirmed by Collider in October 2016, just 2 months prior to the first Sing film release. They appear to have returned, but it's completely unclear who they performed in the film. Seems like you'll just have to actually watch Sing 2 again to see if you can fully recognize their voices in the second attempt. It is extremely disappointing that Rosita, a main female character who could have been incredibly refreshing because she's a mother actively pursuing a creative and innovative passion, is badly handled. She refers to her husband babysitting their young kids for 24 hours so she can go to the Red Shore City to perform. The utter absurdity of her possibly having 25 piglets, or as many as there really are, seriously undermines what could have been an interesting and inspiring side story, particularly for young girls. Calloway is an old-aged and legendary status rock star lion who has been a social outcast since the death of his wife 15 years ago, after which he had disappeared completely from the face of the planet. Bono portrays him. The U2 lead singer is attempting to take on his most significant film role to date. The search operation for Calloway is a major plot point in Sing 2, with the group only able to perform if they can find him and try and convince him to take the stage. Jennings, the filmmaker on the other hand, had no such issues with the man himself. "He's incredible. He's absolutely exceptional, and I adore him," asserts the director. "He's been extremely charitable. I can't express how wonderful and supportive he has been." Undoubtedly, U2's music is also featured in the film, with the trailer set to the band's 1987 solo, "I Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For." The soundtrack album also includes some really interesting and enlightening reinterpretations of the U2 collection, according to Jennings. Many of the catchiest songs in Sing 2 make logical sense. They're top 40 bestsellers from the last few decades that most young children have likely heard of. Members of the audience will hear music by famous artists such as Billie Eilish, Drake, and Ariana Grande. But there is one piece of music that may catch all the little kids off guard. Miss Crawley keeps driving to find Clay Calloway, who has been a social pariah for the past 15 years, in one shot. She has her absolute favorite music playing, as anyone else would, being on the scenic drive. Miss Crawley apparently appears to enjoy heavy metal music in her leisure moments. Chop Suey by System of a Down is the piece of music she's listening to on her long road trip. There is still a huge amount of support for System of a Down nowadays. So, if you're a fan as well, gear up to watch Sing 2 because trust me, it is going to take you on a nostalgic road. The protagonists accepting anxiety and depression and trying their best to deal with them is something that is becoming more and more common, especially in animated movies which are aimed to entertain young kids. One famous example of this is of Chase from Paw Patrol. Sing 2 continues to carry on the tradition by normalizing this positive initiative. Johnny, Rosita, and Clay Calloway all experience severe forms of panic attacks, and although the logical reasoning is pretty murky, but perhaps more children are struggling with anxiety problems as a result of the current and ongoing pandemic. As a direct consequence, Sing 2 endeavors to keep injecting some grounded thoughts and feelings into an otherwise slightly awkward package deal. Buster and his friends track down Clay in order for him to be a part of the show. Clay agrees to do it, but only after some persuasion. He appears to be fully prepared to move on from the past, but something fascinating happens backstage. Clay originally lacks the confidence to walk out on stage. There's a brief pause for thought. At this juncture, a vision of his deceased wife appears beside him. She isn't clearly standing there. It's a metaphor for how she'll always be there for him, and how her legacy will live on in the songs he wrote for her, although she's physically passed. Clay ensures that her memory lives on by playing his music. Jimmy is out for blood after Buster fires his daughter from the production and lies about knowing Clay Calloway. He doesn't want the koala anywhere near his stage, which causes difficulties when Buster decides to put on a show regardless of Jimmy's feelings. Of course, the show does become a huge success, and Jimmy is there to try to take credit for it all. It's too bad he put himself in a position to be arrested, and the next time we see him, he's being dragged away for his numerous offenses throughout the film, including Buster Moon's attempted murder. During the show, Jimmy threw Buster off the side of a raised platform, and if Rosita hadn't been there to catch him mid-air, he would have died. Buster and his troupe attempt to impress Suki with a rendition of Alice in Wonderland in the opening sequence of Sing 2. She is dissatisfied with the affair and exits halfway through the show. But Buster doesn't give up. He races alongside her taxi until she finally listens. Buster and his friends are on top of the world by the end of the movie. They really desired to put on a show in Red Shore City. After getting done with it, they get on a bus to come back home, but Suki follows them in order to grab their attention, just like Buster tried to at the start of the movie. She's arrived to inform the group that the Majestic is interested in having their act perform on its stage. The gang appears to be a permanent fixture in Red Shore City for the foreseeable future, which could hint at the movie's future direction. By the end of Sing 2, you may simply want to leave before the parking lot fills up, even though it is natural to wonder if a mid- or post-credits scene awaits you. However, neither a mid-credits nor a post-credits scene is included at the end of the film. This is consistent with the 2016 Sing. It would have been fun to see what our favorite singing creatures are up to now, but sad to say, that was not to be. As of now, there has been no verification that Sing 3 is in the works. The critical reaction, public response, and box office results for Sing 2 will most likely determine if a third Sing film is pilot tested. Sing 2 certainly gives space for more adventures for these endearing personified performers. By the end of this sequel, the gang has a regular gig at the Majestic, and they have the highly esteemed talent of Clay Calloway on their side, which adds even more credibility to the company's classical repertoire. There's always a chance that a sequel will take the show on the road, with the troupe traveling from city to city, giving more people direct exposure to the show than ever before. So in that case, get ready for another show!